Welcome back, travelers, to your referral roadmap. We missed you over the holidays, and we are sure glad to be back in studio, aren't we, Athena?
Yes.
This podcast is dedicated to helping you unleash your personal and business revenue potential by cultivating referral relationships. In this 10-part series that we're going to be diving into, we are diving into the value factor, how helping others fuels business growth. So we'll be exploring how adding value to business can be a key driver of success, offering insights and strategies to master this essential skill to build your own referral-based business. Today, we are going to be talking about the power of adding value in business. Let's look close. So, just to define that for you all, it is adding value in business means going beyond the basic transaction to offer something that will improve the experience, solves a problem, or helps others succeed. It's about actively listening, understanding needs, and providing meaningful solutions, connections, or resources that create lasting relationships and mutual growth. So without further ado, Athena, I think you might have a story for us. Is that right?
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be back, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our first 3 seasons and series. And so we're excited to be back this year. We wanted to start this year out with talking about adding value. And we're excited about this because we personally have seen so much success. And so one of the stories I wanted to talk about is with the home building business. You guys all know Jada and I'm a partner, and she is an executive for a home building company called Turner & Son Homes here in Oklahoma. And so, yes, we do have many hats. But one of the things that we learned over a decade at Turner & Son Homes is when we identified our target market. And at that point, we identified our referral partner target market. Now, I want you guys to understand, if you haven't listened to the podcast about target market, please go back and listen to that because this will make sense. But you have a target market that is not only your end user, the person purchasing it, but also a referral partner. And at Turner & Son Homes, we identified that agents, real estate agents, were our number one referral partner. And we wanted to figure out, how do we add value to them? Now, if you don't know real estate, you may not understand in the real estate industry, the agent is kind of at the top of the pecking order. Everybody comes to them and wants something. Bankers want something, insurance people want something, everybody wants something from them. And so they're constantly being hounded for their business, for them to promote other people's businesses. And we just didn't want to become part of that noise. And we wanted to figure out, how do we partner with them by adding value? And one of the things that we learned after many conversations with a number of agents is that, like any business, they often struggle with the fundamentals of business. Now, if you're listening to this and you own a business, or you're sole proprietor, or even if you run a sales team, you need to understand the fundamentals of sales. Sounds so simple, we often stop doing them. So one of the things that we did at Turner & Son Homes was we built CE classes, which just means accredited classes for agents in order to help them understand sales fundamentals. So we created them, we got licensed to teach them, and then we went about teaching them. And we have been doing that for over a decade. And what that did is it drastically changed our image to the agents in our area. We went from being the builder who didn't like them, didn't want to work with them, the builder who only wanted something from them, or anyone else in the industry who just wanted something, and we became an advocate for them, somebody who cared about them and wanted them to succeed. So I want you to think about, do you think that helped us? Well, if you've been listening to this podcast at all, you know it did. It absolutely has helped us become successful. Now, I will say there's a lot more to it, but it did. And not only that, yes, it helped us with our business. Yes, it helped us deepen our relationship with our identified target market referral partner, but it also was the right thing to do. We were able to watch people become successful and reach their potential because we saw a need. We created what we needed to help them. So I want you to think about that. Now, people in sales are like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to add value. What is something that your people need? And are you willing to create it? So That's my story.
I love it. Thank you, Athena. Well, we have to jump into some facts and figures.
Yeah. Been a
so
minute.
I know it's been a
You
minute.
guys,
So
you've been dying for this, all through the holidays. You just know it.
that's what I was thinking about. So I wanted to touch on a few different areas. So one being retention, another being growth, and then one being helpers high. So I'm going to go through a few different statistics, and then we'll kick it over back to you for the rubber meets the road for those that aren't super interested in the facts and figures. So one study that I read was a study by Frederick, and I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, Reichelt, in the Harvard Business Review, found that increasing customer retention rates by just 5% can boost profits by 25% to 95%. That's a huge jump. Adding
Hello.
value, right? Adding value to those relationships by providing consistent support, resources, and help encourages the customer loyalty, reducing churn and increasing profitability. So
Jada,
that
can we
was,
just, wow. Yeah. I'm sorry
yeah.
to interrupt you. Can we
No,
just
please.
stop? What the heck? Here's the thing. Retention is so critical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wow. Increasing profits from 25 to 95. I don't know. It's so hard to get a new lead. Let's take care of the ones we have. Let's take care of the ones we
Amen.
have. Right.
Amen. All right. And the next one was research on social capital. So the networks and relationships that hold value in communities and organizations shows that businesses and individuals with larger, more engaged networks experience more opportunities for growth. A study by Wayne Baker at the University of Michigan found that individuals who actively contribute to their networks by helping others and sharing resources build stronger connections that lead to new opportunities.
Like that.
Makes sense. And then the last but not least, a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that acts of helping create a helper's high, a psychological benefit that can improve the helper's well-being. In business, those who regularly add value to others, not only strengthening their relationships, but also fostering that sense of fulfillment, leads to more productive and positive interactions.
I don't know about you, but I need some of that helper's high.
Yep. Awesome. Well, that is all the facts and figures I had today. So, Athena, can you show us where the rubber meets the road on this?
Absolutely. You guys, here's the thing: as I'm out speaking and teaching and training and working with CEOs, if you have been following us for a while, I care about the practical stuff. How do we take the facts and the figures and the books and all of this information, and what do we freaking do with it, right? So today I want to talk about, as we begin this series, let's figure out how are some practical steps we can take adding value to impact our businesses and our life. So the very first thing is I want us to shift our mindset from transactional to relationship. This is critical. And I hope you guys are really watching thought leaders. The thought leaders in business right now, all of them are saying the businesses who are developing relationships are the businesses that will be around in 5 years. And I know you guys have heard me talk about we have to embrace technology, but we also have to embrace relationship. So the number one step, we have to start focusing on the personal growth of each person that we interact with. So we want to look at long-term relationships with our current clients, like the statistic we just read from Jada. We want to talk about deepening relationships with our referral partners, potential partners. We have to start thinking, am I actually adding value to this relationship? Now, one of the things, Jada, I like to bring this home when I'm speaking is I tell people this. I'll ask this simple question. How many of you have a list of your referral partners? And you'll be surprised, unfortunately, how few people raise their hand. So very, very first, make a list. But here's the other thing. For even those who raise their hand, I ask them, when was the last time you reached out to them to be in relationship with them? And again, sadly, that number is very low. And so I have this analogy just to kind of get it, make us see. Us having a relationship with a referral partner, that means we have engaged in a relationship where there's trust and trust. And if we've established that type of relationship, but all of a sudden we ghost them, That's very much like going on several dates with somebody, thinking they like you and they're engaged and they care about you, and then all of a sudden they ghost you. Do you feel valued? Do you feel important? Of course you don't. But we do it to our referral partners, our clients, and strategic partners all the time. So think about that for a second. Okay, so we need to start, are we building relationships? 2, we have to cultivate a give first mentality. Now, what does that mean? It means when we are in a conversation, a meeting, networking event, our goal is not to get. Our goal is not to, I'm going to get you, you're my next sale, right? That's not the goal. The goal is, first of all, qualifying. We've talked about the 4 4s when you're networking. If you don't know what that is, we've went through that quite a bit last season. Maybe Jada, could you put that networking or a link to the 4 things we do when we're networking
Yeah,
in these show notes?
absolutely.
But so you're networking and you got to be doing your 4 qualifying things, but you're really looking, how can I help these people? Now, I'll tell you, you're not going to be able to know how to help them if you're doing all the talking. Okay? You got to be listening. And you got to be listening not with commission breath trying to make a sell, but to listen to how you can connect with them. And I talk a lot about what does that look like? Well, it looks like you taking notes, and it looks like you following up to give them a resource or a connection. And so I want you to, there's a practical step here, powerful. Now, I'm going to say this. One of the things I love about Jada's follow up, and she's renowned for it. We have people call both of our businesses that she's involved with and talk about her follow up. Now, if only thing she had to follow up consistently was to just say, hey, are you ready to buy? With her heart, she'd never do it. But here's the thing. She knows in every conversation, the only thing she has to do is what, Jada? Offer help. She's consistently offering help. And she knows that that's every conversation. Now, Jada, you want to speak to that for a second? Because you live this day in and day out.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, before anyone else can say it, I am not a salesperson. That is not my heart. That's not my personality. That is not what wakes me up every single morning. Any sales activity, I'm just not great at. So for having that mentality of that kind of give first mentality, it helps me in those follow-up conversations to not feel like I'm trying to sell someone on a house or on coaching or on whatever it is. I really am just trying to add value. And if they come around to become a client in one business or the other, great. But if not, that's not my intention. It really is just to help educate and help provide value, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. And so I want them to feel valued and feel heard and seen before I ever want them to feel like I'm trying to make a sale.
And by the way, that is called selling, folks. That is the selling of the future. Okay. So just to let you know, well, you want to listen to that because she actually has excellent results for somebody that's not in sales.
Yeah.
The next one that I want us to embrace is a growth mindset. I know you've heard me talk about this, but for you and other people. And a growth mindset means I'm not going to be limited by my circumstances, by my upbringing. A growth mindset says no matter where I started, I have the ability to go above it. Prime example of that, and I like to, it's personal to me, but I grew up in poverty. And a lot of people think that if you grow up in extreme poverty, that you're going to stay in poverty. And the statistics are high that is a truth. However, you don't have to stay there. Even though as a child, my husband and I were laughing about this, kind of laughing, but laughing about this, that he saw a trailer park near a freeway, and he was like, you lived in those. And I said, yeah, that was a regular part of my childhood, is living in a single wide trailer next to a freeway near a flea market. However, the other part is I said, yeah, but I can beat you. I lived in hotels, motels. And that's one step, by the way, one step removed from homelessness. If I can go from that to having these conversations with you, it's because somewhere someone told me that I didn't have to become a statistic. And somewhere I read something, learned something that said I could grow above my circumstances. And so I have. And so I want you to get yourself in a growth mindset and understand that we have no limits. We have the ability to grow and develop and overcome challenges. And not only you, but I want you to have that same attitude for everyone you're helping. It's really important that we help other people understand that they too can go above their set point or that limiting belief they have. So that's Jaden and we have some fun announcements of some things coming up, and we'll really go a lot deeper into these subjects. But for today, growth mindset. We've got to believe we can do more, and we got to believe other people can so that we can help them do it. Okay. The other one, we've got to adopt, number 4, a long-term perspective. If you are thinking short-term, right, burn and turn, it won't work. Relationships take time, they take nurturing. And so we have to build trust. We have to continue to add value. So I want you to think, you cannot be thinking, I'm just going to get the sell and move on. That is a dangerous attitude to have in a business or in sales, because one relationship nurtured well can bring you referrals and networking in a enormous way. So if you nurture the relationships you have and not throw them away, they will bear fruit beyond, I promise, what you even expect. So it takes patience. And a lot of times when I'm speaking, Jada, I talk about farming versus hunting.
I was
Okay?
just thinking about that. I'm glad you brought it up.
Right? So,
Yes.
right? I get it. There are times we have to hunt, and hunt is where I got to go get a lead and I got to make money. Farming is where you're developing relationships, and eventually those relationships will be your fruit, your harvest that feeds you. The more you build a farm, the less you have to hunt. And I love farming far more than hunting. We all know Jada does too. And so we're all about the long perspective and building the farm. So I just want you guys to think about that in your day-to-day life too. Number 5, stay curious. I have a sign here behind me that says, no judgment, stay curious. Always be curious. Don't ever be so arrogant that you think you already know somebody. Don't ever get so prideful that you're like, well, they just, don't do that. Walk into every conversation in your business world, and I would encourage you in your life to stay open. There's a lot of adversity going on in America right now because we're not curious, right? We go into the conversation and we want people to believe what we believe, think what we think, have the same moral compass, same values, and we're not interested to listen and be curious. That's a dangerous place to be in business and in life. So be open, listen to what's going on in their life, listen to their pain, listen to their hopes, their dreams, and don't listen to respond. Listen to understand. Jada and I've talked a lot about this. People want to be seen, heard, and understood. So make sure as we start this add value series that your heart's in the right place. Okay. Now, this may mean that we're being strategic, right? And intentional to add value because it's going to bear fruit for us. But it also is being a good human being and helping society all in the same time. So this is what I love about this. And as much as I will say that I am a salesperson, this is the method I enjoy, is adding value and building relationship. And so we're going to continue to unpack and really, 10 sessions, you guys. We're going to do 10 sessions in this series about adding value. You want to come back because each one of them is going to give you another tool. And I think, hey, this season, right, Jada? At the end of each season, we're going to have a resource, right? That kind of pulls them all together.
Yes. So to dive a little bit into that, we are going to have essentially just a landing page on our website, but it's going to be broken down into different episodes. So you can go in and see, during episode 1 of this season, what resources did they talk about? What resources did they bring up that they want to provide us with? And then Athena and I, if we think of anything else that would be helpful based on the conversation we have today, then we will continue to add to that. That way, you guys get awesome resources and you can utilize them and reference back. Because I know a lot of you all are probably listening while you're on the treadmill or in your car or walking your dog, who knows really. But most of the time, podcasts are listened to on the go. So we want something for you to reference back on when you are able to sit at your desk and take notes.
Excellent. Well, we're so excited. We couldn't do a add value and not add some value.
Add some value.
Money where our mouth is, right? So you guys be thankful that we checked ourselves, and we're going to make sure that we do that for you guys. And by the way, too, I just want to say before Jada kind of wraps us up and gets us ready for our next episode, please, if you ever have feedback that ways that Jada and I could make this podcast better for you, more educate you better, or if there's a topic that you want, please put it in the comments. Please reach out to us. It's Athena at athenacaptain.com. It's Jada. Visit our website, athenacaptain.com. We want your feedback. We want to know what we can do to really be adding value that's impactful and intentional to help you. So please, let's have a conversation and see what we can do to be of help. So I'll leave it back up to you, Jada.
Awesome. So a lot of people ask, where do we go from here? And the answer is you can join our Success Revolution. It is our weekly blog fueled by relationships, referral, and revenue. Brings you weekly growth strategies straight to your inbox to help you take control of your sales, your revenue, and achieve your full potential. We'll make sure the link is in the show notes below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can join us next week as Athena brings real talk and real strategies with our special guest, Sybil Hale. So we cannot wait. See you next week.
Bye, you guys.